You've probably heard about the 3-second rule in marketing, where you want your first 3 seconds of a video to be absolutely optimized to capture someone's attention as they scroll. But what you probably haven't heard about, and what's probably even more important and more powerful, is the 3-day rule. I first learned about the 3-day rule from one of my mentors, Tai Lopez, and he was reviewing some marketing copy that was written by the team I was working for at the time. And what he said, I've been thinking about ever since. And he said, if somebody doesn't remember your copy in 3 days' time, it's not good copy. And it got me thinking about this concept called the 3-day rule. And essentially what it means is if someone doesn't remember what you've posted, one of your ads, if they don't remember your emails or anything that you're doing in your marketing efforts, then it might not be that good. In fact, can you think back to 3 days ago and think of an ad, a video, a social media post, or something along those lines that you still remember to this day? And probably if you think 3 days ago, you might not even remember what you had for lunch. So what you should be thinking about in your marketing is somebody going to remember this in 3 days' time, right? So I'm here in Italy right now. And before this, I was in a city called Florence, awesome city. And what we had for breakfast one morning before we started this long hike was an affogato from a cafe called Vivoli. And this affogato was so good, we're still thinking about it and we're still talking about it, even though we're almost 2 weeks later. And the same thing happened with the man I mentioned, the mentor, Tai Lopez. His ad, he recorded an ad called Here in My Garage.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
And that ad went so viral and it was so memorable that people are still talking about it like decades later. I think it came out in 2014 or 2015. So we're currently a decade later in 2025 and people are still talking about it. People still remember it. And it's even studied at universities. And that ad, guess what? Tai openly says that ad has made him, I think, over $100 million. So that's the power of when you have something really strong, really powerful that people remember in a few days' time. The longer the better. It generally means the more money you're going to make, the more people are going to remember your brand, and of course, the more people are going to purchase from you. If you think about your purchase decisions, chances are when you see a product for the very first time, you're not going to buy it straight away. You generally, if you just think back to something you've bought recently, you generally shop around, you generally think about it, you generally view, let's say it's something on social media, you view other content from that person or that brand or that company, and you might buy, there's something called a sales cycle, which is the amount of time it takes between finding out a product to actually buying the product. So what that's going to help you to do, if people remember your ad or people remember your social media posts, people remember your product, instead of them forgetting about it quickly, even though they might have the intention to buy, they're going to be thinking about it. And as a result, in a few days' time, when they are ready to buy, they're going to know how to look you up. And that's why having a good brand name is so important, something that's memorable, right? You don't want something that is easily forgettable or hard to remember or confusing. So with that in mind, I want you to think about and start to use the 3-day rule in everything you do, whether it's an email you send, a social media post you make, or an ad you record. Always ask yourself before you press publish, most of the time, is someone going to remember this in 3 days? And if the answer is yes, then you are in very good standing and you're likely going to make money from it, or at least people will come back to view you again. So is someone going to remember what you do today in 3 days' time? And I hope that in 3 days you think back to this video and you start to apply and use this concept in your marketing, because that would indicate that it follows the 3-day rule. So forget about the 3-second rule and start to optimize for the 3-day rule.